Well, the virus has now killed more than 100 people in China, and new cases have been confirmed around the world.
So you don't want to frighten the American public.
France and South Korea have also got evacuation plans.
But you need to prepare for and assume
strongly warning Americans to avoid all non-essential travel to China.
That this is going to be a real serious problem.
France, Australia, Canada, the US, Singapore, Cambodia, Vietnam, the list goes on.
Health officials are investigating more than 100 possible cases in the US.
Germany, a man has contracted the virus.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
Japan, where a bus driver contracted the virus.
Coronavirus has killed more than 100 people there and infected more than 4,500.
We have to prepare for the worst, always, because if you don't and the worst happens.
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Welcome to War and Pandemic, to our global audience, and particularly all the interested parties in Beijing. Yes, we are coming for you, the Chinese Communist Party, and we will overcome and defeat you, like we defeated the fascists, and like we defeated the Nazis, and like we defeated the commissars in the Soviet Union. They all went into the dustbin of history. Takes a while, sometimes. It takes a while for the American people to kind of get focused, but they're getting coached up. They're getting very focused. And President Trump has warned, right, that we had a sneak attack like Pearl Harbor and like 9/11. But he's on point now. How we doing? By the way, the VP's going to Iowa today, correct?
Yeah, and Jennifer Jacobs.
To a meatpacking plant, right?
Yep, and Jennifer Jacobs from Bloomberg just tweeted out, news, Pence flight to Iowa delayed an hour after a staffer tested positive for coronavirus, I'm told. Some aides disembarked Air Force Two, wheels up now for Iowa.
The aides, they took the temperature checks. What are we doing? We're at 11:30 now at the monument, right, Jack? Not noon.
I got an interesting little piece of news, which I think says a lot about this country. Apparently, there are 8 veterans who are going to appear to represent their peers at the 75th anniversary of the victory over Europe at the memorial today. And, of course, they were warned by the authorities about the dangers of coming out in public, and they responded unanimously that, hey, that doesn't matter because this is too important, and they think it's just a blessing for them to be able to go and represent their peers who died.
The greatest generation spits in the eye of the CCP virus. Come on, they've seen worse. Great Depression and WW2, Iwo Jima, Guadalcanal, Normandy, the air war over Germany, the air war over Japan, the submarine warfare, the naval warfare, Coral Sea, the Lexington, Midway. Come on.
And if you wouldn't mind,
Stilwell in China, the over the hump, the Burma, India, China, which is a totally not described theater of the war. They fought in the jungles of Burma, the OSS everywhere. Come on. The greatest generation spits in the eye of the CCP virus. Say, bring it. Right? They've seen worse. Come on. We've got to match their gravitas. We got to match their courage, tenacity, stick-to-itiveness, indefatigability. We got it. I keep saying the younger generation, my daughter's generation, the new greatest generation, they volunteered and fought these horrible wars, McMasters, in Afghanistan, the one you kept them in another couple of years, you liar. Oh, you're Mr. China now. You're a stone-cold liar, dude. Can't wait for that book to come out. We're going to deconstruct every page of your lies. Don't get me going on this thing.
You know, Steve, one thought I want to put out there for all the bad news today, and just to be clear, I mean, the 14.7% unemployment, African-American unemployment, as CNN has put in there, is 16.7. Some very tough news.
Hispanic, too?
Hispanic numbers.
After Trump did such a great job.
Hispanic numbers are 18.9.
Come on, man.
They're going through this.
Work.
And we've done a good job of going, we're going to play some clips of Kevin Hassett and just kind of where things are. I believe the NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell saved Donald Trump's presidency last night.
By saying we're having a season?
Not only saying that we're having a season, by putting out the full schedule. And I will tell you that nothing is more powerful to getting states to reopen and to figure out how they're going to do this than seeing the NFL schedule announced. And they also built in, just with the way the bye weeks are, the way that they stagger the divisional games, because divisional games are very much weighted to the back end of the season as opposed to the non-divisional games in the early front. They could literally take the first 2-3 weeks of the season, put those on the back end, work them in there, use that bye week before the Super Bowl, and basically have a full NFL season. But without getting too much in the weeds here, I think Roger Goodell saved Donald Trump's presidency by forcing ahead the NFL schedule. There's nothing that has people more excited and more bullish about being Americans, about rah-rah, the battle ahead, than saying, you know what, we're going to go play some football.
But are you telling me if we got – this is Korean baseball, which has now become a cult thing, right? I think it started by Jason Miller. Jason Miller, the new Barstool's having some problems. Barstool's having some problems. Jason Miller's the spin-off of War Room is going to be War Room Miller's sports show.
My Kawum Heroes T-shirt shipped this morning. I got the eBay notification.
No, but if the NFL doesn't launch, or if we got cutouts, does that mean we don't? Because I keep saying, hey, if you don't have football, we got a campaign issue. And where's my college football?
Do you realize, you know how they made in the earlier part of this decade, we talked about the golden age of TV. We talked about the big shows like Game of Thrones. We talked about The Walking Dead, a number of these big, massive cable shows that really, Sopranos really kind of kicked it off back in the early 2000s. But this golden age of television, do you realize the cultural impact of football? Because here's the other thing too, not to be sleeping on. The SEC schools said that they're going to have schools going back this fall, which then means
as the predicate that we're going to have football.
Then we're going to have football. If you have the NFL and you have SEC football, Donald Trump is going to get reelected.
I think it's a very good leading indicator, right? I keep saying if you don't have SEC football, I don't know if we can carry Alabama, right? It's high church. That's become high church. We're going to have Jason Trennert on in a moment. He's jumping off conference calls, one of the top strategist on Wall Street about all this going to come in. But we have Hassett and Kudlow. Let's go to the audio tape.
So this is Kevin Hassett, who we're huge fans of, former CEA director, and now he's back as a senior advisor. Here is on Tuesday with Poppy Harlow on CNN.
Because we have a jobs report that is coming Friday that it looks like it's going to be devastating. Economists are predicting 16% unemployment for the month of April, 22 million perhaps jobs lost in April. Do you think those numbers are about right, Kevin?
Yeah, I'm a little bit above those. I think that one of the problems is that when you map initial claims for unemployment insurance to the unemployment rate, there's some people who lose their jobs but don't get their unemployment insurance because there's states that have like outmoded computer systems and so on, and so that the claims get kind of lost along the way until somebody goes back and reloads it. And so I think that my guess right now is that it's going to be north of 16%, maybe as high as 19 or 20%.
Wow.
And so
that's Kevin Hassett from Tuesday. Keep in mind,
remember that.
And so right now it's at 14.7%. So it came in lower than what Kevin thought, and Kevin's a smart guy, knows 100 times more about this stuff than I do. Here's Kevin just now on CNN.
And senior White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett just told us it could get worse.
the next one should be around 20. I was thinking this one might be as much as 20, but we had a big decline in the labor force as well. And so the numbers are going to be it's probably going to be best to look at, as you said, the U6. Okay. And so that's at 22%. It'll probably be 25% in the next report. And then hopefully from there, it'll start to head back in the right direction.
Yeah, the U6 they think now may be more accurate. This is okay. This is Great Depression type numbers, right? This is Greatest Generation. Hey, we've had the Greatest Generation. They're going to be standing tall today at 11:30. The brothers at AVN are going to put it up in the screen. Remember, they're the backbone of the Trump revolution. The guys.
I want to say a critical point right here. What Kevin Hassett did, both with Tuesday, with framing what the numbers might look like, and then today coming back, smart, and this is what people like Kevin Hassett are supposed to be doing. You put the guys who with the green eye shades to go out there and talk about the numbers. I love Kevin. He fits into the lovable nerd category. He's the one to go out there and talk about the numbers and the models and the projections. Same thing on the medical side. Birx, Fauci, they're the ones who need to come out and do this type of number talk rather than President Trump.
Exactly. Roosevelt and Churchill and these guys wouldn't be talking about how many unemployed, no, they're giving you hey, we got to take it on. Jobs. Remember, there's only three important numbers: the dead, the jobless, and cash CCP sending us. President Trump should just talk. The only number that should come out of President Trump's lips, across his lips, is the tens of trillions of dollars the CCP is going to send us after he breaks them, right? And so, or in the process of breaking them. That's why, you've got to get other guys, and Burks and these guys should get on top of this death. By the way, that 110,000 you're going to hit by Memorial Day. Just if current trends continue, we're kind of stuck in that. We're stuck on that plateau. Every day it's 2,500 or 2,000. It's and nobody can kind of get their arms around how they're doing it. How do you think Ben White's got a great piece in Politico, and it talks about somehow, and this is why this is just a constructive observation. I would never mention the stock market again. I would never mention the stock market. The stock market is going to be what it's going to be. You've hit it with a $6 trillion bazooka to back every asset class up. Right now, the stock market is somewhat detached from what current reality is. Now, the stock market theoretically is the net present value of all future earning streams. And so it's always forward looking. That's great. It's looking somehow over this chasm, and that's fine. But we're not seeing, at least, I don't know if we've got the Fed guys yesterday, but we had people on the Today Show and others, some Fed governors who, and the Federal Reserve guys, every governor is the same way. It's not going to be a sharp V. It's going to be a long grind out of this. Let's play this. And that's the guys with the tap on the money.
Yep, this is Neil Kashkari, who's the president of the Minneapolis Fed. Just bear with us for the.
And he was head of the TARP program under Bush. He came in from Goldman Sachs and ran the TARP program and some of these other turnaround programs during the last financial crisis. Very experienced guy. Ran out for, I think, the Senate in California. Didn't do particularly well, but a smart Wall Street financial type.
About 15 seconds. Bear with us on the audio.
The Federal Reserve is acting very aggressively. We will continue to act aggressively. I think it's becoming clear that we're in for a long, gradual recovery, which is unfortunate. I wish we had a quick bounce back, but I think we're going to avert the kind of depression scenario because policymakers are going to continue to be aggressive to fight that outcome.
He just gave you good news. The Fed's going to sit there and be in this for the long haul. Right, we've got this balance sheet now that we got to sort out, the balance sheet of the United States, the people, the full faith and credit of the United States. But he said we're going to be for the long. But he said we can avoid a Great Depression, and it's going to be a low gradual decline. That's what you got to be selling right now, and you can sell that. You can sell because the American people understand all they want is reality and the truth. Right, we've got to grind through this. And, maybe, Jack, some of the mistakes or these things now about unlocking, opening up. You've got the groups that you can start to sequester, the prisons, the elderly. You can start to do all this, do it in a smart way, open this back up, let these governors let it rip and kind of push through this. But take the long thing. It should be jobs, 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 jobs. I happen to think. We were the first to say you got to bifurcate that. You got to have an economic group and you have to have the pandemic group. I think now in the economic group, you have to designate a job czar. You have to one person, man or woman, pick it. And maybe if it's going to be the president, be the president. But every day they're out there talking about jobs. And maybe he designates, Pence runs one task force, the other task force, and should never mention the stock market again. The stock market is looking at different things than the 33 million that are unemployed today. And you've got to get that. You've got to start taking – and the underemployment. Remember, it's not just the unemployed, it's the underemployed. And Kobach brings a great thing. You got 4 million kids that are coming into the job market. Everybody's got to feel like I love that phrase, every American that wants a job should have a job.
Absolutely.
Every American that wants a job should have a job, right? And now we've proven that we got QE 20 or whatever it is for the asset classes, and we're not arguing that didn't have to be done in an emergency. Although obviously the populists and nationalists and us are saying, hey, is everybody taken care of in the same way, or did the Wall Street guys get another bailout, right? And the little guy didn't, and the little business didn't. The issue is every American that wants a job should have a job, right? Or should have access to a job. And that should be first. That's what Kobach's saying, hey, on these new work visas, we got to be very careful about that. Okay, let's take a short commercial break. I think we got General Spalding. We're going to turn back over to Raheem. This whole issue, talking about jobs and the future technology. Remember, One Belt, One Road, Made in China 2025 was the other. That was the convergence to take away all our high value-added manufacturing jobs. And the piece de resistance was Huawei. That's the backbone of quantum computing. It's the backbone of all future technology. And it's in your life. General Robert Spalding, one of the great heroes of the Trump administration, joined Raheem Kassam and all of us to talk about Huawei in a moment.
Pain, swelling, stiffness. When your hands hurt, you can't function. Until now. Introducing the new CopperFit compression gloves with Sure Grip technology to give you more power, more control, and more agility than ever. Our most advanced copper-infused compression fabric woven into an ultra-lightweight performance glove that fits like a second skin to support relief and recovery of sore muscles and painful joint stiffness. And new Sure Grip bands built in to provide a strong, non-slip grip for more power and control.
You need total control of your hands when you're doing anything with construction. Your hands are your livelihood. The CopperFit gloves are great. The grip is outstanding here with these different ribs. It makes my hand a lot more usable. It just feels like you're just ready to start the job.
The gloves have been a game changer for me. They help with flexibility and pain and soreness. They allow me to do my job even better.
Breathable wicking fabric with an open finger design for full range of motion, feel, and control.
They relieve my pain. When I grab something, I'm not in pain. The support or whatever magic these things do, I don't know what it is. It doesn't matter to me what it is. It works.
I get a lot of pain, and it can make it difficult to do the smallest thing. While I'm wearing this, I do not have any pain. I can use it on the keyboard. I can use my phone. I drive with it. I sleep with it. I love this glove.
The new CopperFit compression gloves with Sure Grip technology. Relief from painful muscle and joint soreness. Guaranteed or your money back. Call 1-800-984-5571 or on the web at getcopperfitgloves.com for only $19.99. Order right now and your shipping is free.
I tried it. I use it. I know it works.
CopperFit gloves definitely just make my life better.
I've used CopperFit before. This has helped my hands so much. These things work.
Feel better with copper-infused compression. Ask for it by name. CopperFit compression gloves.
In the last year, there were 3 victims of cybercrime every second. When a criminal has your personal information, they can do all sorts of things in your name. Criminals can use ransomware, spyware, or malware to gain access to information, like your name, your birthday, and even your social security number.
That's why Norton and LifeLock are now part of one company, providing an all-in-one membership for your cyber safety that gives you identity theft protection, device security, a VPN for online privacy, and more. And if you have an identity theft problem, we'll work to fix it with our $1 million protection package.
There are new cyber threats out there every day. So protecting yourself isn't a one-time job, it's an ongoing need. Now is the time to make sure that you have the right plan in place. Don't wait.
Norton 360 with LifeLock. Use promo code GET25 to save 25% off your first year and get a free shredder with annual membership. Call now to start your membership or visit lifelock.com/TV.
War Room Pandemic with Stephen K. Bannon.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Welcome back to War Room Pandemic. I got to go through the stack of books, and the radio audience, we always keep a stack here in front of us, what we're currently reading. Stealth Wars. You don't have to actually go through unrestricted warfare. It's a little dense, but if you want to read the best analysis of it and how we got into the situation we have, it's General Robert Spalding's Stealth War. It's a must-read. How China took over while America's elite slept. Well, America's elite slept, but they slept with their hand open, okay, to make sure they got their 30 pieces of silver. Yes, that is an analysis of to Judas, right? Because they sold out the country, and we're going to have the pleasure of naming names over the next days, weeks, and months ahead of those that betrayed you, those that are still working for, and it breaks my heart. Is Jones Day the law firm for the campaign? I think they might have gotten let go. Jones Day, which did a great job on the campaign. Don McGahn, Steve Brogan, the senior partner, fabulous people. Love them. Don't love the fact that they're announced as Huawei's lobbyist, because Huawei's lining up. The scam is they line up all these lobby firms. So between the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the Chinese, they get everybody on the payroll.
You know what, though? Hate on them all you want. I bet their Skype isn't cutting out.
Whoa! That's because you know why? That's because they're on Zoom. Zoom, which has a new member of the board of directors. Zoom, which is in Chinese intelligence. Zoom is getting all your data. Henry McMaster.
I'm sorry, Vish.
General McMaster got to do that.
Vish is so mad at me right now. Just the steam.
Because he knows, where's my door? Where's my screen door?
What really terrifies me about the Zoom thing is that so many people around the country are having these, evening hangouts and happy hours, and all installing this software into their computers, all installing TikTok onto their cell phones. Every little thing that these guys accumulate from you, ladies and gentlemen. These companies brag about how they work in line with the CCP. When the CCP demands any data from all of these companies, they don't protest like Apple protests the FBI in San Bernardino.
It's not a demand. It's, hey, show us what the Americans are doing, right? Boom. Yep. Zoom, TikTok, all of it, right? You got to watch it. Now we're in Huawei, the worst. Let's bring in now General Robert Spalding, the single smartest guy outside of President Trump in the White House, right? General Robert Spalding was a real warrior. You see Matt Pottinger and all the great work they're doing. Spalding was there, and Spalding kind of left because of 5G and Huawei. So we've had Freddie Graham from The Spectator. We got the British elite selling us out. We got the American elite selling us out. You now got the Commerce Department. Where's Wilbur? Wilbur's he's sheltering in place down in Palm Beach. Right. Well, I got no problem with that. You're at the back end of the Greatest Generation.
Palm Beach not even open.
Palm Beach, we sheltered in his mansion, right? But Wilbur, hey, stuff's happening to the Commerce Department. Can you zoom in? Get a zoom and hook in there. General Spalding, help us out here. By the way, why is your former boss McMasters on the board of Zoom? Didn't he read your memo?
I think people in the government think that because Zoom is an American company, then you don't have to worry about the fact that they have Chinese engineers basically doing all their code production. So there's something wrong with Zoom, and we need to dig a lot deeper to get to the bottom of it. Clearly, the fact that they were saying they had end-to-end encryption is the first one, but just the fact that they've got software engineers working in China on their code base does not give me any kind of comfort in that company whatsoever.
Talk to us about Huawei. Why is the Commerce Department? I thought you put the stake in the dragon. I thought when Stealth Wars came out, all the cockroaches ran for it. When cockroaches ran for the no, I don't get 10% of this book because everybody says, Bannon, all you do is push Gertz's and Spalding's book. There's a must-read. You want to have a must-read? Read Stealth Wars. I thought after your book came out and you made your tour, everybody realized Huawei was the PLA. It's not associated with it. It is the PLA, that this thing was over. What's happening to commerce? And you're telling me Spalding didn't actually drive the stake in the heart of the vampire?
Well, so the vampire was given mouth-to-mouth by the likes of Qualcomm. So Qualcomm has been lobbying D.C. very heavily to be able to sell chips to Huawei. The other thing that they've been saying is, well, 5G is going to fail, and it's not going to have American design standards in it if we're not a part of the standards-making body in 3GPP. So they're basically lobbying to continue to sell chips to Huawei, and one of the things that they want to do is continue to be a part of this Chinese design network. The problem with 5G today is it's not just about Huawei. It's about the entire telecom ecosystem that has been pulled like a gravitational pull over to China because they've dominated the system. And until we understand this and realize that we got to build our own networks that are secure, we're going to continue to have American companies lobby the Commerce Department to get these guys to allow them to be working with Huawei. That's the problem we face. They want to sell Snapdragon chips to China. That's what this is all about.
Well, hang on for a second. I thought correct me if I'm wrong here, I thought the White House had this, and very smart strategic EOs, these executive orders that have taken decades actually to get through and finally pushed through by the Trump White House, that got the Chinese all out of our telecom system. Am I just some simpleton? I thought I saw a whole series, 3 in a row, that took care of this problem, that quite frankly, it was you were the beginning architect of this when you were at the White House. What happened to that?
So Qualcomm is on the device side. So you're right. On the infrastructure side, yes. they have done a pretty good job of saying, okay, Huawei is not going to be building our infrastructure. What Qualcomm is fighting for is the ability to be the device side of a Chinese design network. And so that's what they've been lobbying to do, and that's why they've lobbied the Commerce Department to get back into the standards-making body. You know, we should not be, the United States should not be participating in the design of a primarily Chinese-designed network.
Talk to people, because one thing about being Chinese, another thing about being the PLA, and how close is Huawei to the People's Liberation Army?
Well, it's really not about Huawei. It's about how the PLA does business. So today, if you're an American and you work for an AT&T, you might be an intelligence officer on a part-time basis for the Army. So you're an Army reservist, say. So you work full-time at AT&T, and then you might spend one weekend a month working for the Army as an intelligence officer. In China, the Communist Party does it differently. You work full-time for the PLA, and then 1 week in a month you might go and work for these telecom companies going out and updating basebands in the UK or providing software updates to, the servers that are operating in another country. So they take a completely different view to how they mix business and military service. It becomes you're primarily military, but then you're coming in and assisting the business because, quite frankly, they see the telecom infrastructure as a means of collecting data and influencing populations, both for economic benefit, to sell more, shoes, but also to get you to, appreciate the Chinese Communist Party model.
General, this is Jason Miller. I've got a question for you. With all this money that's being spent in the Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, and even the upcoming Phase 4 stimulus bill coming out of Capitol Hill, why is there not more money that's being put to 5G and in particular the U.S. development? I mean, we know that we have a company with the chips in Qualcomm. We know that obviously from the American end we can go and build the actual 100 to 110,000 towers that we're going to need, but we don't actually have the chip relay system. So we're either reliant then on Nokia, Samsung, Ericsson, or Huawei. Why aren't we taking some of the stimulus money and saying, damn it, we're just going to do it from the U.S.'s side?
Well, so Steve can tell you what the problem is. What we have here is all of these guys from Wall Street that are really focused on modern monetary theory that says, hey, if we just throw money into the banking system, everything will figure itself out. What's happening, every time we have a crisis, we slam money into the banking system, and what happens is most of that money goes to China, and then they use it to buy infrastructure or to buy manufactured goods. So rather than investing it in our country in manufacturing and infrastructure, like we used to do in the Alexander Hamilton days, it's about industrial policy and growing our own economy and productivity, not about growing China's. But today, economists in the U.S., particularly those that are assigned to places like the Treasury and the Commerce Department and the Securities and Exchange Commission, just think you can throw money at the market and everything will sort itself out. The Chinese have hacked that system, so the money goes to them.
We got about a minute left. General, you've been in the super hawk camp for quite a while. The President of the United States at the Resolute desk yesterday said what happened with this virus was as bad or worse than Pearl Harbor in 9/11. What say you, sir?
Oh, clearly tens of thousands of Americans are dead as a direct result of actions that the Chinese Communist Party took. Now, look, when I was in Beijing, when the UUV was taken and negotiated the return of that, what I saw from Xi Jinping is he could exert direct control over the ship captain. He had essentially realigned command and control lines within the Chinese Communist Party and within the PLA. What that means that when he says that he's in charge of Wuhan on the 7th of January, he's in charge. So when you talk about letting those 5 million people leave Wuhan to four corners of the earth without telling anybody and by telling the WHO, don't say anything, and also by going from a net exporter of PPE and masks to a net importer, this entire thing, forget about the origin of the virus, the pandemic, the entire thing was orchestrated by Xi Jinping and the Chinese Communist Party.
General Robert Spalding is the author of Stealth Wars. It's a must-read. General Spalding, thank you very much for coming on today and being as blunt as you normally are.
Thank you.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is an American patriot. That's somebody that the greatest generation have been proud to have in their ranks. Why don't you join his rank? Go to #WarRoomPandemic. We'll be back in just a moment.
Everyone loves the benefits of compression socks, but they're just so hard to get on. Until now, introducing the all-new Copperfit Energy Socks, redesigned for the first ever easy on, easy off fit to help reduce swelling, relieve tired, achy muscles, and provide energizing support. A new blend of stretch fabric for the most comfortable, easy on, easy off compression fit.
Being a SWAT commander, we train to win. The Copperfit Energy Socks, they didn't feel like other compression socks. They totally exceeded my expectations.
Our most powerful copper-infused fabric, woven into our easy-on, easy-off compression sock to help reduce swelling discomfort from prolonged sitting or standing.
I'm 38 and a half weeks pregnant. Copperfit Energy Socks worked beautifully.
Extra support around the arch and ankles for increased support and relief of muscle aches and pains.
I'm so excited about these socks. I'm so much more energized to go do things after a day of work. They just slip right on, yet they still have that same compression that you want.
A soft cushion footbed for all-day comfort.
I'm on my feet at least 9 to 10 hours a day. These were fantastic. A lot of compression socks are a little too thin, especially for what I do. With Copperfit, I could wear these every day.
Feel more energized. Feel more active. Just feel better.
They just hug your leg. It relieves all the pressure that you have. I have so much energy, I can go, hey, you want to dance?
The first ever easy on, easy off compression sock. The most comfortable compression sock you will ever wear. Get your Copperfit Energy Socks now online at GetEnergySocks.com for only $19.99 or call 1-800-978-1224. Order right now and we'll include a second pair of compression socks free.
I've never felt anything like it before.
No more pain, no more swelling, no more achy, tired feet.
I can never go back to regular compression socks again.
Don't settle for ordinary. Ask for the original by name, Copperfit Energy Socks.
Some people say dress your age. That's ridiculous. I dress how I feel. Yesterday, I felt bold with boundless energy. This morning, I woke up calm and unbreakable. Tomorrow, who knows? Age is just an illusion. How you show up for the world, that's what's real. What's your idea? I put it out there with the GoDaddy website. Make the world you want.
My son needs this drug. I hope it doesn't cost too much. I hope my insurance pays for it. Can you tell me how much this will be?
67.
Sorry.
Wait, have you heard about GoodRx? GoodRx finds free coupons to help you save up to 80% on your prescriptions.
Wow. I had no idea.
GoodRx. Stop paying too much for your prescriptions.
War Room Pandemic with Stephen K. Bannon.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
I hope your blood's boiling. It's supposed to. Every day we want to get you madder and madder and madder, because only when the deplorables have gotten mad enough that they have the resolved mind to say, we've had a belly full of this, and the CCP's the problem, and we're gonna, as I said in Outlaw Josie Wales, we're gonna go down to Missouri and set things right. Right, we're gonna set things right with the Chinese Communist Party. It's that kind of resolve. A resolved mind, as Emerson tells us, is unstoppable. We need the resolved mind of the American people, and I think we're getting there. Mr. Jason Miller, are we not?
Yeah, and I'd say, Steve, don't be too hard on Vish and Dan about the door coming in, for a simple fact, I don't think we make them in the U.S. anymore. So we're probably reliant on China for those. Yeah. That's just my. All right. So here's President Trump on with Fox and Friends this morning. And
you're only making their lives worse, because afterwards, why do you mean we got a Chinese door? How did I not know that?
It opens the other way.
How did I not know that? Right. Exactly.
All right. Here's President Trump on Fox and Friends. He gets to the key point right away. So listen.
Look, I'm having a very hard time with China. I made a great trade deal months before this whole thing happened, and it was kicking in, a month ago, and starting to kick in and starting to produce. And then this happens, and it sort of overrides so much. It's just, I've been very tough on China over the years. I've been saying China's been ripping us off at a level that nobody's ever ripped us off before. And I've been
And then let's go right to Larry Kudlow on Bloomberg TV.
President Trump has said any number of times that they will be held accountable. We continue to investigate the problems regarding the coronavirus and the lack of transparency. We're trying to get to the bottom of what actually happened in China. Those efforts are ongoing. And I believe the president in the Oval Office yesterday said in the next couple of weeks we'll probably have a lot more information to share.
You got to play. I got to hear Trump again. This is music. This is everything he is. He's president of the United States because of China, right? Hit it again.
Look, I'm having a very hard time with China. I made a great trade deal months before this whole thing happened, and it was kicking in, a month ago, and starting to kick in and starting to produce. And then this happens, and it sort of overrides so much. It's just...
I'm having a hard time with China. This is the one American president that's held them accountable, right? Braced them up, put the tariffs on. And remember, every Wall Street guy said, oh, this is wrong. You got all the elites, everybody on the payroll, the CCP. You can't do this, can't do this. He got them to the table and got the first phase of the deal, which was a great start. Not perfect, but he had a perfect deal. He and Lighthizer, on the Lighthizer deal that they walked away from in May of 2019, ladies and gentlemen, would have taken care. It had 7 key deep sectors. It would have totally reformed the Chinese economy and brought it in to essentially free market capitalism throughout the world, and we would have gotten to the sunlit uplands because Li He and the other reformers. And I realize a lot of people laugh, and there are no reformers. This is the same fake, this is the same head fake the Soviets gave all the time. Oh, we got these reformers. You got to work with the reformers. They're all gangsters. But in the spring of 2019, remember, they decoupled from us on the technology side, right? This is why Qualcomm's running around now trying to get back into the... They decoupled. They said, hey, we're going to have our own standards. We're going to have our own chips. We've stolen enough from the United States and from Western Europe and Japan. We stole enough technology. We're going to do it on our own, decoupled technologically. Ian Bremmer's the first guy to identify that, the major geopolitical event until the biological warfare. Oops, did I go there? Excuse me. The wet market. Don't think so. Wuhan, right, in late December of 2019. I'm having a hard time with the Chinese. Hey, guys in Beijing, that also you should read like a papal bull, okay? Because Donald Trump's greatest saying he's got is no games. No games. He is actually a guy who's the least trigger-happy guy I've ever seen, and he angers very slowly. He's got a quick trigger on the tweets. He's always going to punch back. But he doesn't. He's very judicious about it.
He doesn't like confrontation.
He's not a confrontation guy. He's a big tent guy. But hey, I got to tell you, he understands being a wartime president. The Chinese Communist Party better understand when he flips and said, hey, I've tried to go out of my way and be nice. I've tried to be statesmanlike. I've tried to work with these people. I've tried to do it. And now I see what they've exactly done. And it is like Pearl Harbor, right? And I've got to go up here to the memorial on VE Day and represent the country and think back over 75 years of where we were and have these greatest generations who are fearless. They say, hey, we spit in the eye of the COVID-19. COVID-19, you're a midget, right? We're the greatest generation. And I think we've got a new greatest generation. This challenge is greater than they faced, and here's why. The German economy, the Italian economy, the Japanese economy, as big as those were, we had the British Empire and we had ourselves, and boom, right? Here, right now, I think on a PPP basis, the way these things are calculated, I think the Chinese economy is actually bigger than the United States economy. With our 40% drop in the second quarter, just saying, financed by Wall Street and all the technology given by the global corporatist, the party of Davos, domiciled in the United States, that exist because of the deplorables, because of the infrastructure of safety and stability that makes the greatest capital markets in the world, is because of the deplorables. And remember, your money is all your pension money, all your insurance money. I want you to embrace that. The 20% that are unemployed, all the unemployed, it's your money. This is the Greek tragedy part of it. Once an eagle, by our own hand, we were smitten. By our own hand, we've been stabbed, right? Your money, and don't whine. Oh, it's the politicians, it's this guy, it's that guy, it's Wall Street. Yeah, you know what? History is going to judge you. The Labor Party, the working class people in the United States and Britain, they stood up, and guess what? They changed guys out. Winston Churchill, correct me if I'm wrong, Winston Churchill wasn't the leader of the Tory party. He didn't have a party. He was called the Wilderness Years. Manchester's biography, and hey, it wasn't a year, it was a decade. He didn't have a party. He didn't get invited to any cocktail parties out there. He was shunned as a pariah. Okay? Who changed that out? They didn't get Lord Halifax. Hey, the Queen Mother. Just saying. They all wanted Halifax. Cut a deal. But hey, Rudolph Hess not flying over there for his looks. Still hadn't gotten to Hess. Never got to Hess. Put him up in a prison. Don't even know if it's the same guy. I had like 9 of them, right? I'm just saying, British elites, just like Huawei, always taking money. David Cameron got his hand in the till. Tony Blair got his hand in the till. All the elites got 9 guys in the House of Lords, hand in the till.
I mean, Neville Chamberlain actually went on family vacations with the Il Duce from Italy for many years.
Come on, the Mitford guys and Oswald Mosley, all of them running around.
I will add, it wasn't all of them, and it's
not all
never,
of them.
It's never just all of them. And remember also, for historical context, Gallipoli, they held that over his head. It wasn't just the Nazis. And he was
as first of all the admirals. He had a few strategic miscalculations. This is the whole thing about nickel and diamond Trump every day. You don't think Franklin Roosevelt, North Africa, Kasserine Pass, he wouldn't have been. Eisenhower would have been gone. All of them been gone, been fired. You never see Eisenhower wouldn't have to have Zhukov not be there in Berlin because he would have been cashiered. Right? Everybody, they all make mistakes. Modern media, CNN, hey, look at Kasserine Pass, get rid of these guys, right?
And Steve, as you're talking, President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump are at the World War II memorial. President Trump saluting Melania, staying with their hand on her heart. Very moving as they both mark the 75th anniversary of VE Day. We're seeing those images behind us. Steve, there's one other point that you always talk about, the deplorables.
By the way, for our radio audience, AVN's we see President Trump right now at the memorial.
And to your credit, you always talk about the Chinese deplorables as well, and how they're
Lao Beijing,
they're the victims of this fascinating story that we don't really have time to go into today, but I'll tweet it out if anyone wants to read, about how the Chinese have abandoned their own people. They've been trapped outside of China because China's put up some of the strictest borders. They're not even letting their own people back. So they're just basically like, hey, tough luck. You're on your own. Figure it out.
Well, this is also, hey, the guys that kind of invented it or know about it from the labs. Hey, if you're outside the country and we don't care, you got it asymptomatic, tough luck, right? Hope it works out for you in Chile, right? Wherever you are, hope you don't run out of money, right? Go get a job somewhere. You're not our problem.
They don't have an overall total because, of course, it's not like
I'm sure it's a lot,
right? I'm sure it's a lot, but you have a woman talking who's been hiking, for a long time in India and the Himalayas. You have an engineer that's been in Pakistan, and I'm sure. I mean,
all the guys on One Belt, One Road. They're not coming home. They're not going to do that. Hey. Permanently disqualified. You don't think the Chinese Communist Party knows that about their army? Permanently disqualified. Why is that not the lead on CNN and MSNBC? Rachel Maddow, hey, Chris Hayes, pick up that one. When you're doing your little thing, well, it came in the wet market, it's nothing but the lab, permanently disqualified. You think something came out of a wet market, brother? You think something came out of a wet market? Somebody told me the other day it would take 1 billion years to do the transition from SARS-1 to the COVID CCP-19, right? No, come on. Now, the reason you can't hear anything about this, they got a firewall. Our next guest, the gentleman from Michael Horowitz from the 21st Century Action Fund, is one of the great leaders about human trafficking. He's now at the forefront of how we tear down. We're not going to have victory. We're not going to free. The Chinese people are not going to have their liberation, which is the greatest question in the first half of the 21st century. Okay? Until the firewall has to come down, financed by American money and American technology. And Michael Horowitz has made it his life's work now for a guy that's got a history of great accomplishments. His life's work now is to take down this firewall. Michael, thank you for joining us. We're going to have you stay over for the next segment too, but tell us what the firewall is and why it must come down.
Steve, am I on right now?
Yes, sir. You're on. You're on to the nation.
Right. Well, listen. I've been in government for a long time. I was the OMB General Counsel during the Reagan administration, and I have never seen a clearer win-win deal than is open to the president to do right now. There are two things. One, to make up your point, Hu Jintao said, I cannot maintain the stability of the socialist state if I cannot purify the Internet. These are the Berlin Walls of our time. There was that General Spalding was just on, talked about all those people who left Wuhan during January and December. That's because the Chinese are able to hide what they're doing because the power of the Internet doesn't reach them. Now, experts have made very, very clear that it is technologically feasible for us to bypass the Chinese firewalls. It won't take a lot of money, but it'll take a Manhattan Project effort. If we do it, we now have lined up a major American university to assign its key information technology and computer security experts to work with either the State Department or the Board of Broadcasting Governors. They believe, we believe, that the chances are substantial that we can take down the firewall before the election. It will be the most dramatic thing in the election, so it could turn the election to have Donald Trump conducting an interactive town meeting with 200,000 Iranian students from the Oval Office, or participating in a worship service from a U.S. church where 500,000 house church Christians participate. Even
Michael, hang on for 1 second.
Yes, sir.
Michael, we're going to bring you in for the next segment. We're going to take a short commercial break. Michael Horowitz is going to rejoin us on the other side of the break. Raheem Kassam, Jason Miller, Jack Maxey, and a little feedback. We're going to take a short commercial break. Hashtag War Room Pandemic. You're coming in hot and heavy today as being part of the community. We want to hear more of it. We'll take a short break. We'll be back in a moment.
The hottest new razor is taking the men's grooming world by storm. And if you don't have it, you need it. Micro-Touch Solo, the hyper-advanced full-body razor that trims, shapes, edges, and even shaves with micro-precision. And it's totally safe to the touch. Go solo for full-body control with one tool. No nicks, bumps, or ingrown hairs. Edge beards and goatees with one touch. Clean your neck, barber shop perfect. And check this out. Snap on the guide to tame growth and perfectly shape your full beard. And keep new growth stubble trimmed exactly to your style. And look, the Solo Full Body Groomer trims precisely the length of hair you want. Snap off the guide and remove unwanted hair anywhere in seconds. What makes Solo different than your ordinary razor? Dual-sided German stainless steel blade. Shave up or down at 200 microstrokes per second. The Ultra Flex pivoting head contours perfectly to you for precise results. 3 custom grooming guides for control of exact length and shape. And a built-in LED light so you never miss a spot. Solo is so precise, you need no creams, no soaps, and no water. Ditch the old man clippers and toss the scissors. You've got to go solo.
Call 1-800-709-9777
or go online at microtouchsolo.com and get yours now for only $19.99. Complete with German stainless steel blade, pivoting head, built-in spotlight, and 3 custom grooming guides. Everything you see here for just $19.99. The all-new Micro-Touch Solo Full Body Groomer. The one tool that does it all.
Hello, I'm William Shatner, and you may not know this about me, but years ago, I was diagnosed with a sleep disorder. And like millions of others, I was prescribed sleep equipment. Did you know sleep equipment manufacturers recommend daily cleaning? That's why I use So Clean. It's the perfect complement to my daily routine, and it's hassle-free. So Clean is fast and easy. It keeps my sleep equipment fresh every day without the need for disassembly.
With So Clean, daily maintenance is a snap. All you do is place your equipment in, close the lid, and walk away. You can try So Clean risk-free for 30 nights. Order now and get a $50 rebate.
So Clean is so fast and gives you peace of mind that your sleep equipment is fresh each time you use it.
Call 1-800-648-4349. And for a limited time, get a $50 rebate. Call 1-800-648-4349 or go to SoClean.com.
War Room Pandemic with Stephen K. Bannon.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Our guest is Michael Horowitz. We're talking about the firewall. That's phase one of how we destroy the Chinese Communist Party, because you will start to begin the liberation of the Chinese people. Remember, we can't bring it down. They got to bring it down. We can give an assist, and we are going to give an assist. Michael, talk to what can the American people do? Tell me what your plan is specifically, and what can the president do, and what can the American people do to take down the firewall?
Okay. You need to give the President of the United States, use cash whatever chits you have with him, and ask him to remember 4 numbers and a letter. And I think we're on our way. The 4 numbers are 7050A, lowercase a. Because there's an obscure provision in the Appropriations Act that the Secretary doesn't know about, that nobody in a senior position knows about. It says that not less than $60,500,000 shall be made available to the State Department and the BBG for programs to promote Internet freedom globally. Now, I am telling you that the staffs at lower levels at the State Department, and very especially that Board of Broadcasting governors, have sabotaged every effort for the United States to mount a major Manhattan Project initiative to take down the firewalls. But no,
hold it, stop.
Hold it, hang on. Not less than $60 million.
Hang on.
And that
you just
money
said
is
sabotage.
being spent for nothing
Amanda
right
Bennett.
now.
Amanda Bennett, the head of the over there at the Voice of America, and the guys at the BBG, they've sabotaged money that's already been allocated. They have not spent it to take down the firewall.
Listen, the person who's in charge of the firewall program at the BBG is first somebody who, when she ran the program, the Inspector General condemned her for giving little grants to friends of hers and not doing anything serious. She's now in charge of the whole thing at the BBG. We need to get somebody in the BBG to replace her. But Steve, let me tell you.
What's her name?
Her name is Libby Liu. But let me make a much more important point, and I will confess error. We've been focusing too darn much on the gnarly politics of the BBG. It is what my friend Tom Coburn called it, the most worthless agency in the federal government. There's no question about it. But this 7050A says we can almost ignore the BBG if we want to take down the firewall, because it gives even greater power to the State Department to do it on its own. And Pompeo is ready to roll on it. Pompeo has said to the G7, we need to have transparency in China as a matter of national security post-COVID. And he has a provision in the law, get this, that says you shall spend not less than $60 million. And then, to make it really cool, Steve, the statute further says you can access 3 State Department accounts to come up with the money for whatever program you establish. And one of the these 3 accounts together come to $3 billion worth of appropriation. And one of them is the so-called Economic Support Fund, which is a $2 billion fund at the discretion of the Secretary of State to spend for any purpose. And now the statute says you can access this fund to tear down the firewalls. Nobody's told this to the secretary, and the president needs to call the secretary and say, I want a plan on my desk for a Manhattan Project to take down the firewalls and to do it before the election. And he can have, as I just said, a major American university, not the government bureaucracy, that will assign its best scientists to help that get done. He has an unlimited budget, effectively, from $3 billion worth of accounts in the next couple of months to tear down the firewalls. But the clock is ticking, Steve. If this is going to be done in time to convert to have an effect on the election, it's got to be done quickly. The president needs to hear 7050A and call up Mike Pompeo and say, Mike, I want a plan on my desk for you I want to see your Manhattan Project plan to tear down the firewalls. You have unlimited budget to do it. Let's have your plan. And he can be in touch with a couple of people. Some of the state, he can be in touch with me. There's a guy who was kicked out of the BBG who is now the Chief Information Officer of the Department of Commerce. He knows what's going on, and he knows the science. So there are good people there. There's a major university ready to join the effort. And we need to get word to the president that he has got this power to effectively take down the firewall. And if we do it really well, to do it before the election, it'll be the most dramatic event of the whole election, could influence the outcome of the election itself.
Tear down this wall. Michael Horowitz, thank you very much for joining us here on War Room Pandemic. We're going to make sure this gets bundled up into the right people. I want to thank you for
I
your
want
hard
to talk
work
to you.
of working on this for so many years. Michael Horowitz. We're going to put up all of Michael's, how you get access to Michael, etc. Thank you, Michael. By the way, tomorrow I have another special edition of Descent into Hell, Part 4. I couldn't be here last week because we were in Santa's workshop working on some stuff, CCP. You guys in Beijing. By the way, guys in Beijing, and also Libby Lou, and all you other fellow travelers, okay, Libby Lou, we're going to make you a star. What we say that we made the Dirty 30. Got to make them
famous.
Made them famous. We're making you famous. We're making Amanda Bennett famous. We make all you folks famous. Why you haven't been doing this? You're doing, we're going to get to the whole thing, Libby Lou. You're going to have your moment. You're going to have your moment in the sun. But this Chinese intelligence, guys in Beijing, we have dozens and dozens and dozens of Michael Horowitzes out there that have been working on stuff to take down the CCP, to work for the liberation of the Chinese people, for Lao Beijing, old 100 names. Dozens and dozens and dozens are where that came from. There's so much that can be done here. We're going to be running stuff on you. So get ready to get on defense. You've been on offense too long. We're going on offense now. There's so many people around the government. There's so many people in private industry. There's so many people at these freedom groups. There's so many people at the massive Miles Guo, whistleblower, other things CCP should understand. Your people hate you. They're coming. This whistleblower thing, we got guys, men and women coming out of the woodwork ratting you out. And you know why? They hate you. They hate everything you stand for. They want to breathe the fresh, crisp air of freedom, and they're going to breathe it, okay? And one day, they're going to stand at the memorial where the WW2 heroes are. Until tomorrow, 10 o'clock, Descent into Hell, Part 4, the defiant voices of the Chinese people. We'll see you tomorrow at 10.
I'm Nick Bolton, and these days...
Hey there.
Hey there. It seems everybody has a pair of tactical sunglasses. Good morning. Morning. But what if you already wear glasses? Then you need these flip-up tack glasses. These new glasses fit right over your existing eyewear to give you all the benefits of our tack glasses while you comfortably wear your regular glasses. And watch this. When you don't need them, the lenses flip up and out of the way. Then snap right back into place when it gets bright again. Plus, like all tack glasses, flip-up tack glasses feature Bell & Howell light filtering technology that makes invisible objects suddenly become visible. But don't take my word for it. Check out what these people had to say. Take a look at the screen and tell me what you see.
Nothing. Just blank.
Nothing. There's nothing there.
Absolutely nothing.
Flip down those tack glasses and look again.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing. There was nothing, and then it just appears an American eagle. It's absolutely insane.
Can you read that fine print on the bottom right there?
Land of the free and home of the brave. God bless America.
Whether you're on the trail or on the golf course, on the water or on the slopes, with flip-up tack glasses, you'll always see clearly without any glare. There's just nothing like them on the market today. Here you go, buddy.
Thanks, Nick.
Act now to get your flip-up tack glasses for just $19.99, and we'll even ship them to you free. Only tack glasses feature the precision and quality of genuine Bell & Howell lenses, and they're backed by our lifetime guarantee. But wait, order today and you can get a second pair. Just pay a separate fee. You get it all, plus free shipping. Here's how to order.
To get your flip-up tack glasses for only $19.99 with free shipping, call 1-800-284-4127. That's 1-800-284-4127, or visit us online at flipupglasses.com. That's 1-800-284-4127, or visit us at flipupglasses.com. Call or log on now.
The hottest new razor is taking the men's grooming world by storm. And if you don't have it, you need it. Micro Touch Solo, the hyper-advanced full-body razor that trims, shapes, edges, and even shaves with micro precision. And it's totally safe to the touch. Go solo for full body control with one tool. No nicks, bumps, or ingrown hairs. Edge beards and goatees with one touch. Clean your neck, barber shop perfect. And check this out. Snap on the guide to tame growth and perfectly shape your full beard. And keep new growth stubble trimmed exactly to your style. And look,